I might have traveled 1,000 miles or just from up the road, but it won't change a thing at all. I'm glad to be here tonight. We might have never met before, so let me say hello. Some of you might know my name, for some I'm just a strange face. By the end of the night I hope to make a friend. So let me take you down the path, forget the...
Oh, that's my morning routine.
Ja, schnellst bisschen.
I was listening to Tim Ferriss show. I'm a mad fan of his stuff. As you know, I'm kind of all about productivity and getting as much done as possible. So it might come as a surprise considering I'm a musician, but I hardly ever listen to music when I'm running. I always listen to a podcast of some sort. I have a few on my list of podcasts that I listen to. And it comes down to the same thing, that it's all about the productivity, and running it doesn't come very naturally to me. I love it, but I have to make the effort of going for a run. And I kind of justify in my head that if I listen to a podcast of something that I more than likely will learn something from, it's not time wasted, even that I know the exercise is good for you, blah blah blah, but there's this back of my head, there's a little voice saying that you should be working right now. Run done. It's day off, and I actually got 4 days off. When I say day off, it means I'm not playing music anywhere. Breakfast time, and then it's gonna be filming and editing. My Final Cut Pro trial runs out today, and I'm not really sure whether I can afford to pay the 300 euros for it today. So I'm gonna try to get at least a few days of vlogging done today. I've been filming kind of a few days ahead lately, and it's really working fine, so I can get this week finished. Hopefully, by the time it gets to then I can figure out how I'm gonna pay for it. Anyway, let's get this day started. Trying to get some protein into me, and breakfast and coffee. Talk to you in a bit. Hey, how you doing, guys? Right, time to get serious. When I started this vlog, I had this vision of sharing my journey, and I always wanted to share the journey in the whole content of it, the good and the bad. As I've traveled on this journey for the past, on a serious note, maybe past 9 months, it's kind of been the crunch time for me. I also realized that I want to be very positive. I want to trigger positive things in people. I don't want it to be negative. So every time I have any kind of problems or issues, I have to be careful how I share them with you guys, because I don't want the negativity of which sometimes does seep in. I'm pretty good at staying positive. I'm pretty good at looking at the good side of things, and even when things are really, really bad, I try to look at how I can learn something from it. And because of that, things like finances, I kind of try to stay away from, because, you know, I am a musician, you know, I live literally from hand to mouth, and that's the nature of the job. As soon as I even start talking about this, it gets very hard to talk about with you guys, and it shouldn't be. Like I want to keep the honesty and the kind of directness of this conversation as real as possible, not pretend things to be wonderful or whatever. But yeah, I'm in a bit of a pickle. I started vlogging with this, my iPhone. Then, round about Christmas, I sold one of my guitars, my very dearly loved Kallio. It's heartbreaking at the same time, but at the same time I appreciated the person who purchased it, because it allowed me to buy this camera that you're looking at me through now, which is Canon G7X, which, by the way, if you are starting vlogging, I can tell you it is a fantastic camera. Now, it has its problems. It really does. The autofocus on it starts to get a bit iffy, slower over time. You have to understand that when you do vlogging, it's working much more than most people use if you're just snapping photographs. So the autofocus gets tired after a little while. Again, it's still absolutely perfect for taking photographs. It's absolutely perfect if the light is optimal. Like right now, the lighting is actually pretty good. I got the light coming from 2 different sources, and it looks great. Autofocus is staying nice and crisp. But several times lately it's kind of let me down a little bit. Plus, it is a point and shoot. It has its limitations what you can creatively do with it. Now, to my delight, in the past kind of month, I got really crazy back into photography. Actually, let me tell you a story about that. Photography has been my passion for a very, 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 very long time. I loved it. Hold on a second. Do you know what this is? This is Canon EOS 500N. It is a film camera, believe it or not. Remember these? You put a film into it. I spent a fortune, first of all, purchasing this. It was my toy at the time. I spent a fortune developing the films. Every week I shot probably several rolls of film. I loved it. And that was my kind of first introduction to kind of a little bit more automatic systems. This served me really, really well, but then things got digital. I literally ate what I had in the cupboards for 3-4 weeks, saved every penny I could. And at the time I was making a little bit more money from the work I was doing, so I was able to put aside a little money, and I bought this second-hand Sony Cybershot. Remember the ones that had the big lens and the swiveling body? And it was an amazing camera. The picture quality from it was just stunning. Then something really crappy happened. We were traveling and we got to our destination with a band. We'd been traveling all day. We literally traveled for nearly 20 hours, and by the time we got to our destination, we got into this lobby of a hostel, and we let our guard down for 1 minute. And that was enough. Somebody who used to stay in a hostel, knew the door code, got in, grabbed my camera bag, and grabbed Des's traveling pouch, which had his passport, which was... And that, for some reason, put such a bad taste in my mouth. It shouldn't have. It was my fault that I let my guard down. It was my fault that I let it affect me that way. But it did. You know, I was still younger. I had the same experiences I have right now. They caught the guy, but the camera was long gone. And I stopped taking photographs for a very, very long time. Good 5 years, I take very, very little photographs. Then these things started getting better and better and better and better and better. And they slowly dragged me back into it. Then something else happened. The video, I had a video camera. Hold on, I think I still have it. Remember one of these? This was a nice camera. I recorded some of the earlier stuff. If you go to Slitter's YouTube page, there's a video for Cirque du Slitter. A lot of it that was filmed with this camera. It was great, but at the time, going from the tape to the computer, I had a crappy PC, laptop. It was just a nightmare. I was trying to work on a Windows Movie Maker, and for every hour of work I spent 2 hours recovering from crashes, and it was a nightmare. These things changed everything. Suddenly I was able to do video. I got my first Mac. I got my first iMovie. I was able to do video, and it was much, much easier. It was, well, let's put it this way, it was possible to do it. Before that, it was such a big struggle that I would have wasted a lot of time that I could be done something a lot more productive with a better output. Now I can actually justify spending the time to making a video and putting it out there, and I'm so delighted to do this. But now I've got back into making a lot of videos, also got back into crazy taking photographs. Loving it, absolutely loving it. My Instagram account is gone through the roof since I started making sure that I put higher quality content out. My YouTube views are crawling up very, very consistently. I'm very, very happy about that. I feel I'm outgrowing the G7X a little bit. Don't get me wrong, the G7X will stay with me, but I really want to get a proper DSLR. But the practical side of me also says that I need to upgrade to a little bit better equipment. I need to get the sound quality, and this is not the best at times. And you can't put an external microphone into these. And then there are a lot of focus related issues that I really want to work on. So yeah, I'm in a pickle. I'm doing all the research I can to find the reasonable priced DSLRs. I'm a big fan of Canon stuff. I know it works. I'm in a pickle because it's been financially a tough month for me. because I got so much work cancelled. I got some really great trips coming up later on this year. We're actually going to be in a few different continents. So I really would love to get my hands on either Canon D70 or the absolutely wonderful new D80, and one or two decent lenses, and then the external microphone. And it's simply something I don't even have money for. I sold the Lumix G2 and I've been very, very good at putting the money aside, not touching it. But now my Final Cut Pro X trial is out, and that's gonna cost me 300 euros. I gotta say that I can see huge difference in the quality of my videos since I got the Final Cut Pro X. It really makes a difference, and I can see even a certain amount of growth since I did it, due to the fact that the quality of the video has gone up. My point is, the quality of your content is so important, and even though, especially videos, it comes down to the story, there is certain elements of technical quality that you have to reach. Mostly that is due to skill, but that little extra bit, which does make quite a big difference, that's what I'm facing right now. And I'm broke. But again, I'm not letting it drag me down. I'm feeling optimistic. I have this vision growing at the back of my head, and it's growing bigger and bigger and bigger and stronger. And I've talked about visualizing your future before, and how important it is to visualize those things, and I can already see the effects of it. I visualize something and I start to move towards it. But this vision is getting just bigger and brighter and more kind of defined, and it's scrolling like right here. It's like coming over here, you know. So I'm 100% sure that I'll get there. I'll get the equipment, but I'm really hoping I could find a way. It's less than a month since I sort of started the Slitter summer tour, which is going to take me to Czech Republic and Austria. We're going to play at some wonderful festivals, some wonderful clubs. I'm going to have a couple of days off in the middle of it where I can go and do some really great vlogging stuff. And I would love to have a decent camera with me. Deep down, I'd love to get a Canon 5D Mark III, but that's a big dream. That ain't gonna happen right now. But I want to get the next level Canon. How I'm gonna do it, I've absolutely no idea. Listen guys, I know this is a bit of a camera talk again, but it's a little bit of my story, how I got into it and what I'm kind of dreaming of doing. And by the way, there's another trip coming up in September, which is going to be so awesome. And that's going to be mainly just a vlogging trip, holidays / vlogging trip. It's not going to be a music trip as such. So it's so big that I don't want to talk about it too much yet. I want to keep it a bit of a secret for you guys. And again, yes, for those two trips, I'd really like to have the decent camera. And then later on in the year, a couple of other trips coming as well. So from July onwards, I'll be traveling a lot more, so it'd be so nice to have the camera. If you got any suggestions how to do this quickly, let me know. But that's not the point of it. The point of it is I wanted to share with you some of the emotions I'm going through right now and some of the struggles. I bet so many of you other guys out there who are doing something similar go through all of this all the time as well. So I'm just letting you know, you're not alone. Stick to it, you'll get there. We'll get there. Talk to you later.
Tonight's the night. Tonight's the night. Tonight's the night.